Right, you lot. It's another slightly painful one, but let's talk Villa. And as you can see next to me, my player ratings are on the screen. Not too much to talk about. We have lost 2-1 due to an 80-something minute goal today to Manchester United. I was in Cambridge. I've watched as many highlights and as much of the match as I could, but I was enjoying some lovely time away before the baby arrives with the missus. And to be honest, I didn't really care about this game because I just thought we were going to lose. See my preview video. I'll put a link to it on the screen. I thought we were going to lose, and that did happen. So let's go through the team. Emi Martinez conceded 2 goals. Not really much he could have done about either of them. So a 6 out of 10 for him. Alex Moreno, a 6 out of 10. The 2 centre-backs, 5s. Longley really can't deal with balls in behind him. You know, when it's face-to-face and he's standing players up, I think he actually does quite well. And Diego Carlos enjoyed a good physical game with Højlund, but eventually he got the better of him, got the goal. You know, that's what matters in football. In the end of the day, is the scoreline at the end of the game. Doesn't matter what happens in the 90 minutes. You got to get the points. And then Matty Cash, another -10 out of 10. I just don't want to see him play football ever again. But there's some injury news coming out of Villa that isn't fantastic for us, and that's around someone in the middle. Kamara, I'll give a 7 out of 10. Actually, when he was on the pitch, I saw a stat: he won 100% of his tackles and completed 94% of his passes. Him and Luiz, I'd give a 7 as well. Obviously got the Villa goal. Actually looked a little bit back to their best today after they've looked a bit lacklustre in recent times, especially in our cup game against Chelsea. And then moving on to the left-hand side, JJ, I'd give a 5 to. Couldn't really get in the game. Leon Bailey, I'll give a 7-2 as well. When he gets at players and when he was getting at players, he causes issues. And you know what? When we took him off, all of our threat looked gone. When we took Leon Bailey off, we didn't look like scoring. You know, I've seen like all the highlights were before, pretty much. Do you know what I mean? And I saw a lot of stuff on Twitter as well of people saying that as soon as Leon came off, we just looked like a different team. John McGinn, 6, does his thing, but again, couldn't really get anything going. And then Ollie Watkins, after such a good game against Sheffield United, drops a stinker against Chelsea, and then misses 2 opportunities that your striker just needs to be scoring in this game. So a 3 out of 10 for him. All of his runs are fantastic and all, but you need to be tucking those chances away, and unfortunately at the moment he is not. But let's get on to what I think about the game, what I think it means for our season. Is it falling apart? So as you can see next to me here, I have the Premier League table updated after that game today. And it means that we finish the day in 5th, 1 point behind Tottenham, who are in 4th, and only 5 points above United, who are now in 6th. Newcastle move up to 10 points beneath us, as well as West Ham, who are 10 points beneath us, and then Brighton are 11 points beneath us in 9th place. So what does that mean for Aston Villa for the season? And my main worry is, how many of you, honestly, look at yourselves now, how many of you knew we were going to lose? Because I just knew we were going to lose. I came into that game knowing we were going to lose. We started poorly, and United got the early goal. We had a bit of a ramp up and actually played a little bit of football towards the end of the game. And then it was right back to mediocrity after we go 2-1 down after Leon Bailey gets brought off. And it's another Aston Villa loss at Villa Park after it being such a fortress this season. Is our season collapsing? Possibly. I mean, possibly. You know, people say, you can say what you want. You can say that we're a better team than United. You can say that we deserve to win that game. We outplayed them. I'll throw the stats up on the screen at some point. We did outpoint them, I suppose, if you were looking at like points per stat. Who cares? In the space of a month and a half, we've played the team that we're in direct competition for 5th place for, and we have dropped all 6 points to them. You know, you could look at both of those games as 6-pointers. That's 12 points worth of games, 12 points worth of a gap that we have dropped, gone, done and dusted. Manchester United are on the up, and Villa are on the steep decline. Konsa's out. Kamara's probably going to be out for a while now as well. I'm seeing a lot of stuff immediately after he got taken off about ACL, and some doctor tweeted out the mechanic of the injury. Could be an ACL injury. And if he's out for the rest of the season, who on earth do we play there now? We're going to have to rely on a 19 or 20-year-old Tim Arugbenham to fill in there. Or McGinn to play out of position because he hasn't played there in so long. Jacob Ramsey to play out of position. Does Tielemans drop into that spot after only looking good as a second striker this season? And, we just look lacklustre. We look lacklustre. I don't even want to look at the form table. If I can bear it, I'll put a picture of it up. But that means our last 5 games is 1 win, 1 draw, and 3 losses. That is not the form of a team pushing for the Champions League. I genuinely think the Champions League dream is quickly evaporating into the distance of imaginary fairyland, and there's nothing that we can do. We look flat. We don't look good anymore, to be honest with you. We don't look like a team that can go and beat a team properly. Although you look at the Sheffield United game, that was fantastic at the time. Let's be honest, they're a team that are 20th in the league. We should be beating them 2-5 to 6-0 or whatever you want to call it. Anytime we've played a team that's near us recently, we have looked terrible. We've been beaten. We've lost. What do we do? What do we do going forward? How do we resurrect us and resurrect our season? And I know, the positive Villa Brigade will be saying, we don't even deserve to be in the top 4. We need to be happy that we're still in it. Absolutely not. When you're in the position, you've got to play like you're in the position, and we are not playing like we're in the position at the moment. Do I think we can turn it around? Absolutely. We've got the players to turn it around. We were playing so well earlier in the season. We absolutely can turn it around. And I feel like this Manchester United loss can go one of 2 ways, especially because of the nature of the loss, which is that, obviously, it was a late goal. After an equaliser, after rallying, after thinking we're coming back, it was a late goal that ultimately undone us. That is either going to kill us completely, like I feel like the Sheffield United draw at home killed our home form completely. That could either kill us completely and we're going to go on a terrible run now and pick up near minimum points for the rest of the season, or it is going to really spark us on like when we lost 4 games last year. Again though, when we lost 4 games last year, it was almost half acceptable because of the state of us when Emery took over, that we would be losing those games. This season our form isn't acceptable. You've got to look at the situation and the circumstances you're in. You can't keep on comparing Villa to the Villa that Emery took over. Emery has done an absolutely, honestly, I know I say you've never seen Leon Bailey and Jesus in the same room. You might never see Emery and Jesus in the same room, because he has resurrected us. He has turned us from the blind into the all-seeing, into a good team. A fantastic team even. And you have to judge us on the fact that we are now a fantastic team, and this form is quite simply unacceptable. The home form is unacceptable. I think the players know at this point that they aren't playing good. John McGinn said he still thinks we can do something special this season. I think he's acknowledging that we've dipped in form clearly and that we're just not playing up to the standards that we were. God, I hope we can fix it. I am not feeling confident though. It's Fulham up next in the league. United look like they're on a real charge now, and we really need to get our ideas in order. We need to get our ducks in a row, and we need to start playing like the Aston Villa that were joint first around Christmas time. Otherwise, this season will go down ultimately as a failure, because I think the way we're playing right now, there's a reason I read all the way down to 9th and Brighton. It's only 11 points. In football, that's 4 games. We're only halfway through the season, and the way that we're playing at the moment, would I back us to beat Brighton? No. Would I back us to beat Newcastle, who were one of the teams there? Already lost twice to them this season. Would I back us to beat West Ham at the moment? Even though they're not playing good, probably not. Would I back us to beat Spurs again? No. Would I back us to beat United? Already dropped 6 points to them. What does it tell you guys? We need to pull ourselves together. Villa, the season's collapsing. Emery, pick out the super glue, my friend. But as always, I'm always hopeful. There's always a chance. And we are the team that were joint first at Christmas. And we are the team that can turn it around. Up the Villa, guys. Be nice to everyone. I will see you guys for a couple of little videos in between the Fulham preview, which will be coming up soon. Peace.